Hi, it's me, Rachel, and today I'm feeling a lot of need to wake up this little muscle in the outside of my hip area called the gluteus medius. So today we're going to have a practice that works a lot on the gluteus medius and incorporates a fair amount of balance practice. So if you have difficulty balancing, you might want to make sure you have a wall available or like a large heavy piece of furniture that you can use to put your hand on to stabilize yourself. Remember, as always, you are the expert in your body, so do what feels right and appropriate for you rather than what I say if there is a difference between those two. Okay, let's get started. Hey, Noe. I'm going to come onto my back. We're all going to come onto our backs. Good. Lie on your back. I'm putting my feet on the floor. I'm planting my feet hip width apart. I'm checking in that my pelvis is parallel. I'm checking in that my shoulder blades, my scapula are relatively parallel. And then I just let my arms go out to the side. I begin to check in with my breathing, and for me it's helpful to feel like I'm gently lengthening my low ribs down towards my pelvis. So I'm not sucking my belly back towards my spine, but I am creating just a little bit of extra length at the upper lumbar. Keep breathing. Good. And relaxing your jaw, relaxing your neck. Good. Take a breath or two more here. Right, and then we're going to bring the right knee in towards the chest and just gently lengthen the right leg up towards the ceiling. Pressing outward through that inner right heel, draw the little toe of the right foot down away from the ceiling. Good, keeping the pelvic bones parallel to each other, keeping the shoulder blades parallel to each other. If you would like to have some padding beneath your head here, definitely feel free to add it. And then I'm going to go ahead and either put a belt around my foot if I would like some more support for my back, or just bring my arms down to my side, whatever feels better for me. And I'm going to work slowly lowering my leg towards the floor. I'm not letting the leg roll out. I'm keeping the toes pointing upward. I don't want to feel this in my back. When I've gone as low as feels appropriate, I'm going to bring that knee straight back in towards the chest. I'm trying not to wobble around to the side, and then I'm going to stretch back up through the leg and again lower down. If this feels like a lot on your back, bring a bend to the knee and don't lower the leg quite as much. And just do a few of these. Again, if you would rather do this with a little more support, you are welcome to come to using a belt. Good. And then next time you bring your leg up, pause. Again, you could be using a belt around the leg. I'll model that first, and then I'll take the belt off. But those of you who aren't using a belt, don't worry about it. You definitely don't have to have one here. Press out through the inner right heel, flex the foot, and lower your legs so that your thigh bones are parallel. So my right leg and left leg are parallel to each other. My right leg is up vertical towards the ceiling. And now I'm going to work on lowering that right leg any amount towards the ground while staying really neutral in my lower back and coming back up. And I'm just going to do that a few times, noticing how that feels. Good. And again, if you want to do that without a belt, same thing. Trying to stay very neutral in the lumbar spine, so I'm being very active with my abs here, and I'm not letting my right leg roll in or out. I'm trying to keep it very neutral. Good, and then the next time the right leg comes up, I'm just going to put that right foot down on the floor. And I'm going to take a breath and re-stabilize through my sacrum. Notice, am I evenly balanced on both sides of the pelvis? And then I'm going to bring my left knee in towards my chest and stretch up through the left leg. I'm going to take a few breaths here, check in with this left leg, see how it's doing today. Try and stay even through my shoulders, my spine. You'll notice I do a lot of wiggling here. I have to keep checking in to make sure my hips parallel. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and begin to lower that left leg towards the floor and bring the left knee back in towards the chest and unhinge that knee. And again, I'm trying to move really slowly. I could do this with the belt around my leg if that felt better on my back. I'm keeping that left leg really neutral, so I'm trying not to roll in or out through the thigh. Good. And then next time I bring the leg back up, we'll pause. And then I'm going to lower my left leg down so that my thighs are parallel and staying really stable through that right leg and really stable through that lumbar spine. I'm going to work on lowering that left leg down and up a few times. And again, I could do this with a bent knee if that felt better for my back. And I'm trying to minimize the swaying in my lumbar spine. I know I've got some going on, but I'm doing my best to minimize it. And just one or two more. Good, and we'll put that left foot down. Okay, for this next one, depending on how sticky your sticky mat is, you might want to put a blanket under the end of your mat. We're going to be possibly sliding a heel back and forth, so I'm going to actually just roll up the end of my mat. But you are welcome to try it on your sticky mat, try it with a blanket underneath the heel. We'll play with it. So what we're going to do is bring the right leg into half happy baby pose. So right ankle is above the right knee, right foot is flexed. I'm drawing my thigh bone down towards the outside of my rib cage, and I'm holding my right foot. You can also hold on to the back of the right thigh, hold the right calf, or put a belt around the foot. Good. And now, once you have chosen your position, we're going to take that left leg, we're going to lift up the toes, and we're just going to work a little bit, if it's comfortable, sliding back and forth with that left heel. Yeah, see, just getting the mat out of the way. Back and forth with that left heel. Good. And if this doesn't feel good, just choose a position and hold it. Right? Nice. Okay, now we're going to come into a static position here. And so either your left leg will be stretched out on the floor, toes towards the ceiling, Or else your left foot will be on the floor like mine is, knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing. Go ahead and release that right leg down. And we're going to try that on the second side. Bringing your left leg into half happy baby pose. Remember, you could use a belt. You could use your hand on the calf. You could use your hand on the back of the thigh. In this position, the left foot is flexed, ankle is above the knee. You're drawing the inner thigh towards that left rib cage. Good. And if it feels appropriate, begin sliding back and forth on that right heel. And I'm keeping my right leg really neutral. I'm not letting the right leg roll in or out. I'm trying really, really hard. Good. Just another breath or two. Good. And then choose a static version of half happy baby. So you could have your right leg extended if you like. I'm choosing to have my right knee bent today. And take a couple of breaths here. Rechecking in with your center line of your body. And go ahead and release that left leg down. Come back to neutral. Okay. And coming on up for a moment, we're going to make our way to lie on our right side. We're going to do some sideline work. Excuse me. So, coming to lie on your right side, with the legs outstretched. If your head does not feel good on the floor, you could put something like a pillow or a yoga block underneath your ear. I'm perfectly comfortable laying my head down either on my arm or the floor, so that's what I'm choosing to do, but do something that feels appropriate for your body. Now, as I come into this position, I'm flexing my right foot, my right heel, hip, and armpit are in line, and I'm feeling myself on that, like, you'll feel that little bony spot on the outside of your right thigh. That's called your greater trochanter. It's a bony prominence that muscles attach to. So we want to be kind of on that spot. So if it's painful, put blankets underneath it. Good. And then I'm going to stretch my left leg out, not so my foot is on top of my right foot, but so that my legs are hip width apart. Good, and I'm trying really hard not to jet my rib cage forward. I'm trying to stay long through the right side of my body. And I'm going to start with my left hand on the floor and just really support myself being really broad and open across my chest. And then I'm going to march. I'm going to bend my left knee, hip, and ankle. See, they're all flexing. And then I'm going to extend, except for the ankle. I'm going to keep my foot flexed right now. If that doesn't feel good for you, you can always point it. Good. And I'm staying very stable through my core and just working through that right leg. Good. Okay. Now next time you straighten the leg, pause. And you could choose to continue on this way with that left hand on the floor. If you'd like to add a level of challenge, you could lift the left arm up, have the left palm towards the floor, be pressing downward with the left hand, and go ahead and lift up with that left leg, and marching, staying very stable through your torso, very stable through your core, through your right leg. Good. Keeping that breath across the upper body at the same time. You're hopefully feeling that muscle on the outside of your right thigh hip area now, or left thigh hip area now, excuse me. That is the gluteus medius. Okay, good. And straightening the leg. If you need a break, you can put your feet together. Good. And we're going to see if you would like to Definitely don't do this if it hurts your body. Move that left arm to bring the bicep back by the ear. Stretch out through that left leg. And again, marching, feeling that outer left thigh muscle holding your stability here. You're not getting any feedback from the floor or a wall with this left foot here. So your whole sense of stability is being created by your muscles. Good, and lengthen down through that left leg. Put that left hand down on the floor. If you want to, relax your feet together. Just one more thing on this side. Good, and then we'll flex both feet. Lift up that left foot again. And I'm gonna bring my left leg up. I'm staying stable through my right side. I'm gonna turn my left thigh out and try not to roll back onto my right buttocks. I'm gonna come back to neutral with that left leg, and I'm gonna straighten. And I'm gonna do that a few times. You'll notice my knee is definitely coming nowhere near vertical to the ceiling. To do that, I'd have to have perfect 180 turnout, which I do not have, or I would not be here. I would be a ballerina. Someone had a little bit of fun this afternoon. Cool. All right, just another round or two. Oh, hello, Gluteus, Medius. And let's roll over onto our second side. Lying on the left side. Again, if you want to put a cushion or a block or anything underneath the left head, side of your head, you may. Feet are flexed. And I take a moment and make sure, am I jutting forward through my low ribs? Am I broadening my shoulders? And I'm going to start with my right hand on the floor. And I'm going to lift my right foot to be hip width apart off my left. And I'm going to check in. Is my left heel in line with the greater trochanter of my left leg? In line with my armpit? Good. I'm not jutting forward with my ribs. And then I'm going to go ahead and start marching. Lifting that right leg up and down. And I'm trying to stay super stable through the left side. Good. Nice. And then next time you straighten your leg, pause. You can stay here if you'd like. If you'd like to, stretch your right arm out in front of you, palm towards the floor, press down with the right hand, and begin again to march. Wow, it's a lot harder for me to stay stable on this side. You might notice that. If you want to choose to put your right hand back down on the floor, you can, or keep it up. Whatever feels like it's the right level of challenge for you today. Good. Okay, straighten out that leg, put the feet together. Take a moment. Two more things on this side. Okay. Lifting up the right foot, lifting up the right arm. If you'd like to, bring that right bicep by your ear, drawing the shoulder blade back away from the ear, and marching with that right leg. Yes. Keep breathing. Keeping your torso as stable as possible. Good. And release the left leg. Bring that hand down. And now we're going to work with the external rotation. So I'm going to lift my right foot up. I'm going to bend my right knee. Turn my right thigh out. Try not to roll back onto my left buttock. Bring it back to neutral and extend. And I'm trying to keep this motion as much as possible in my lower body. Because everything's connected, obviously, I will reflect some of this movement in my upper body. But I'm trying to stay neutral through my core and let my legs do the work if possible. And hopefully you're really feeling this in that outer hip area. Good, and next time you straighten that leg out, go ahead and release. Excellent work. That is not easy to do. Okay, so from here, we're gonna come up into either doing cat-cow position or downward facing dog. So, cat-cow position, if you know those poses, come on in. If you need them explained, in cat-cow position, you're either on your hands, or if that hurts your wrists, you could try being on your knuckles or your forearms. And your shoulders are above your wrists or your elbows if you're on your forearms. Your hips are above your knees, and when you inhale, you lengthen the front spine. And when you exhale, you contract the front spine and arc the back spine. So you could choose to do that. If you're choosing to do downward facing dog, you start on all fours, you tuck your toes under, and you stretch back into dog pose. Dog pose can also be done on the forearms. If the wrists find the position uncomfortable. If you are opting to do cat-cow position, come into a forward bend. If you're in the dog pose, you could choose to either walk your feet forward or your hands back. Coming into a forward bend, your knees could definitely be bent here. And if you're used to using a yoga block to support your hands here, you definitely could continue doing so. Keep your head and neck relaxed, jaw soft, good. And then we're gonna go ahead and bend your knees and come on up to standing. Okay. Take a moment to find yourself centered in Tadasana. My feet are hip width apart, my toes are broad. Balls of my feet are broad, I'm pressing down across from the big toe to the baby toe. Okay, and then grounding through my right foot, I'm gonna do the marching I was doing, lying on our side. If you would like to add the arm position, you are welcome to do so. It would actually be with the palm rotated towards the leg. If you're more comfortable with the arm in any other position, it's all you. Good. And come on down. Now we're going to ground through our left leg. And you could again choose any arm position you like. I'm going to echo what we just did, lying on the floor a little bit. And lift up with my opposite leg. Lifting that right leg up. And again, I'm trying to stay relatively stable through my upper body. Yeah, good. And release. Okay, we're going to move on to a couple of balance poses now. And so you might want to be standing close to a wall or a heavy piece of furniture to catch your balance with. And remember, if you want to skip this part of the video, you are welcome to, because these are definitely veering towards more intermediate poses, these next like two. So I'm going to ground down through my right leg, and the next one we're going to be working on is called standing pigeon. Actually, an alternative, if you're looking for one right away, just turn out your left leg and come into a tree pose as an alternative. If you'd like to try the standing pigeon, you'll ground through that right foot. You'll lift the left leg up just like we did in our marching. You'll lift up that left inner heel towards the ceiling, flexing that foot. And then if you'd like to, and it feels appropriate, reach down and grab that foot with the right hand, and I'm holding that left knee with the left hand. And I'm trying to draw out my shoulders and lengthen through that inner right standing leg. Oh, I'm wobbling. That's okay. Good. And then I'm going to turn that leg back to neutral. I'm not going to do anything that hurts my knee. And I'm going to put that left leg down. Good. Check in. Ask yourself, do I want to do that pose on the second side? Or would I rather now transition to a nice normal tree? So listen to your body. Do what feels right. Grounding down through the left leg. If you're choosing to do the standing pigeon, lift the right leg up. Now I'm flexing that right foot. I'm lifting that right heel up towards the ceiling. I catch that right heel with my left foot. I bring the right hand to the right knee. I'm focusing my eyes on something that's not moving, my drishti. It helps me focus. I slow down my breathing. Good. And then I'm going to bring my leg back to neutral, release with the hands, drop the leg down. Awesome work, you guys. We're going to do one more kind of tricky balance pose in a minute, but first we're going to destabilize ourselves with a little bit of chair. So I like to do chair with my feet parallel and hip width apart. If you have other ways of practicing, do what feels good for you. I normally give a lot of arm variations with chair pose. Today I'm going to suggest bringing the hands to the heart. And then really as you bend the knees, being very mindful not to bend too deep. And as you slightly hinge forward to the hips, breathe into the back of the chest. I'm bringing my hands together. You could do it really lightly with your fingertips if that hurts your wrists. Just because I want to bring myself back to center for a moment. I want to press down with my feet into the ground. I want to feel the weightedness of my pelvis on my legs. Good, and just really take a moment to feel that grounded, centered feeling that we can get from chair pose. And straighten your legs. Excellent. And now we're going to do standing happy baby. So this one's a little crazy. If you want to repeat either doing a tree pose with the left leg, right leg down, or standing pigeon, you are welcome to. Again, feel free to have one hand at a wall. So here, I'm standing on my right leg. I lift my left leg up. I reach down. I could put a belt around my left foot if it's hard to reach with my hand. And I try and unhinge from my hips and open up with my left foot flexed, shoulders soft, jaw relaxed. Again, I've got a drishti going on. I'm gazing. This time I decided to look at the camera. Good. Then I'm going to bend the knee, put the foot down. Good. So if I was staring at you fixedly, I apologize. You were my drishti today. Grounding down through the left leg. Take a moment. Recenter. And then go ahead and lift that right leg up. If it feels appropriate, catch the foot and open the leg up into half happy baby standing. Keep breathing. Remember, wobbles are a sign of practice, of connection, of challenge. Good, and then bending that knee. Put that foot back down, and let's do another chair pose. Good. Okay, and from this chair pose, we're going to bring our hands down to the floor. And stretch your legs back if it's appropriate into downward facing dog. If that does not feel appropriate for you, go ahead and come into cat-cows. And then we're going to just come on down and rest for a few moments in child's pose. If child's pose is not comfortable for you, take any other resting pose that feels good. Breathing into the back of your chest. Okay. Coming back up to all fours. We're going to be doing dog pose with some leg lifts. If you're not doing dog pose today, You could add some leg extensions if it feels okay to your cat-cows. Alternating legs. Otherwise, come into downward facing dog. You could do this on your forearms. Bring your feet to a very parallel position unless you know that's wrong for you. Draw the shoulder blades back away from your ears. Now, we're going to really ground back through that left heel. And that heel could be off the floor. I'm not saying the heel should be on the floor, but feel that you're pressing back through that back heel. And then we're going to lift that right leg up, trying to keep it neutral, trying not to let it rotate in or out. And just do a few rounds of leg lifts here. And just notice how that feels. Good. And then we'll switch to the second side. Trying really hard to stay neutral. For me, that meant, ooh, I caught myself hiking up my hip. I had to stop lifting my legs so high. That's okay. And then come back to dog pose, bring your knees to the floor. We're going to move into a pose called Sukhatasana next. It's not everybody's favorite pose. So if you do not like Sukhatasana, we're going to move into Sukhasana. This one's Sukhatasana. Just cross your ankles, and if a cross-legged position is uncomfortable for you, take anything that feels good for you. If you would like to try Sukhasana, we're going to cross our right knee over our left knee. Bring our hips to parallel. If my hips were really askew here, I would sit on a cushion or a folded blanket. And I'm going to draw my low ribs back down towards my hips, keeping a neutral low back. Good. Broadening between my collarbones. Take a breath or two, and no matter what seated position you are, really feeling this lightness of the upper chest. Those of you sitting in a cross-legged position might be beginning to feel a stretch through the outer edge of those hips where we've been working today. And if you would like to make that stretch deeper, you could begin to bend forward any amount over those legs. You definitely don't have to do that if that doesn't feel comfortable for you. And no matter where you are, breathe into the length of your rib cage. So really notice how long you can be through that torso. Nice work. If you were bending forward, come on up. Let's all switch our legs if we're sitting cross-legged. If you're not sitting cross-legged and you want to switch to a different position, you are welcome to. Or stay right where you are. And again, take a few moments to catch your center here. Notice if you want to elevate your hips. I like to make sure I'm not jutting my ribs forward, broaden my collarbones. You might know what little things your body tends to do. Okay, good. And take a couple of deep, full breaths here. Again, feeling that whole long, beautiful, expansive rib cage you have to breathe into. All that space. Good, and you could stay here if you want to make the stretch in the hips a little deeper. You could begin to bend at the hips, coming forward any amount. And I'm working really hard to stay broad through my shoulder blades here. Good. Breathing into the back of the chest. And then I'm going to slowly come up. If I was bending forward, I'm going to uncross my legs. One more kind of active pose before we start to wind down. Go ahead and come to all fours. You could be on knuckles or a forearm if you'd like. It might be handy if you had a block or some kind of object you could use as a block, even coming towards a wall maybe, for this one, but you could definitely try it without a block. I'll demonstrate without a block as well as with one. So we're going to start on all fours. Broaden the shoulder blades. Feel that the shoulder blade, or the back rib cage, is full of air, of breath. And then we're going to lift that left leg up off the floor, press back through the left heel. Now, I'm going to be moving. Millie, did you sneeze? My dog just made the weirdest noise. I'm sorry. Anyway, now I'm going to move from my right pelvis here, and I'm going to roll my right pelvic bone around my right femur head. And I could use a block here as a halfway point, but I don't have to. And then I'm going to bring my left hand up towards my hip. You definitely don't have to do this. You could keep your hand on the floor or on the block. And if you really want to, you could first stretch the left arm out in front of you, palm facing down, and then lengthen the left fingertips and the left heel away from each other, drawing that left inner shoulder blade down away from your ear. Good. And now I'm moving from my right pelvic bone again. If I wanted some support, I would bring my left hand down to block or floor. And then I'm going to rotate around that right femur head. Bring that left hand down. Bring that pelvis to parallel. Come back to all fours. Okay, we're going to try that on the second side. So, starting in all fours, draw the shoulder blades back, low ribs in towards the body. Lift up that right leg. And we're going to roll that left pelvis around the left femur head. And again, feel free to, like, if you have something you could use as a block to bring. I've heard a box of sanitation wipes works well. Good. And also, feel free to tuck the toes under if that helps you. And then if you'd like to, bring the right hand to the right hip. And if it feels okay, bring the right arm forward from the shoulder palm towards the floor. Keeping the shoulder blade down away from the ear and wrapping around the side rib cage. I'm lengthening my right fingers forward, my right heel back. Then I'm going to rotate around that left femur head. And I'm going to bring that right knee to the floor. Come back to center. And come down to lying on my back. And with my feet on the floor, I'm going to take a few deep, full breaths. Noticing that I'm filling up the back of my rib cage. Noticing I can soften my jaw, my neck. Then I'm going to bring my hands to my knees and my knees to my chest and just roll around my sacrum a few times. Feeling that back pelvis on the floor, and then go in the opposite direction. I'm apparently doing this on the creaky floorboard. I'm going to come back to center, and I'm going to put my feet on the floor. And my feet are slightly turned out, but I'm trying to keep them relatively neutral. And they're mat width apart, so they're a little wider than my hips. And then if this feels good for me, I'm going to let both of my thighs roll to the left. So my left thigh rolls out and my right thigh rolls in. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction. windshield wiper thighs. Now, if this does not feel good for you, continue with your knees upright, feet on the floor, breathing into the back of the low ribs. That is a wonderful thing to do for the back. And if this feels good for you, just move nice and slow. Let yourself experience it. Noticing your breath. Good. And next time your knees come upright, just pause. Bring your feet to the floor, knees hip-width apart, feet hip-width apart. If you'd like something beneath your head, put it there. Arms just soft at your side, and take a few moments to watch your breath. Now, if you would like to watch your breath on your own terms, then you could turn out the video and know that I'm saying namaste. I'm going to talk you through a little bit of breath and then recommend that people turn off the video and move into Shavasana. So feel free to do your own breath work if you have a practice. If you'd like some guidance, lying on your back, feet on the floor, feet hip-width apart, knees hip-width apart. Just notice your inhalation. Notice your exhalation. And we're going to do a practice of counting the breath, just to notice the relative length of our inhalation and our exhalation. So as you inhale, notice what your count was. Mine was 5. And then when you exhale, notice what that count is. And mine was 5 for my exhalation too. Now, it's fine to have an inhalation and exhalation that are the same length, or one that's longer than the other. What I'm going to suggest for Pre-Shavasana is seeing if you can create a breath pattern where your exhalation is a bit longer than your inhalation. So next time when you inhale, let's say I'd count to 5 again. And as I'd exhale, if it wouldn't make me feel choking or uncomfortable, I'd maybe try and exhale to 7. So let's try that. Take an inhalation count and then see if you can exhale for just a little bit longer. And then return your breath to neutral, to nice normal breathing. Notice how that felt. And just to play around with repeating that a few times. So inhaling, noticing how long that was. And then when you exhale, can you make that exhalation just a little bit longer than the inhalation was? And then notice how that makes you feel. If this breathing pattern feels comfortable, you could try and continue it as you move into Shavasana. If you'd rather just fall into a natural breath pattern of your own, please do so. So I'm going to say namaste now. Thank you so much for practicing with me. And I'm going to recommend you turn off the video and do a 5 to 10 minute lovely Shavasana with whatever props you like. So, thank you for practicing. Namaste.